take 25. I wish I was joking. I'm not recording another one, so whatever this is what's going out. Basically, I was at the, oh my God, I was at the gym, right? I was on the treadmill. I was going up the treadmill. I was sweating. I was bored. So I was looking out the window, and across out the window is a StarBucks, right? New StarBucks. Got a nice clean drive-through. And I was like, okay, that'd be cool to take some pictures of a car in, because there was no one there. It was closed. So I was like, right, okay, 7 o'clock. It's closed. It's nice. So I don't have anyone to take pictures of their car, so I'll use my own car. I've got an MX-5. It looks all right. It should suit the location, kind of. So we're going to wait until 7 o'clock-ish. So it's empty. It's spring, summertime as well at the minute. So nice golden sunset. I'm going to wash the car. We're going to get some pictures, and then I'm going to edit them. That's it. All right. So that might not be that informative, but I've said this 25 times now, and I don't want to say it again. So let's just go to StarBucks. Perks of having a small car. I should be able to fit round this cone. Yes. Yes. And we're in. We're in the drive-thru. Anyone want anything? I forgot to say, the sun went. As soon as I wanted to come out, it started pissing down with rain. But to be fair, rain adds a bit more drama to the photo, so we're just gonna go with it. It makes me look so fat. I'm actually going to move the car forward a little bit, just because I think it'd look better underneath this thing here. We have also got some reflections, so you best believe I'm going to get nice and low and shoot the car if I can find it. There you go, look, double reflection. That's going to be sick. Reflections with the car, rain. You know what? I don't need the sunset. The rain is actually helping me out. This is going to be fucking cool. So I think I've got all the shots I need. Got some reflection shots, got some raindrops, got some headlights, got some above here, we've got some levels up here, which was really cool. Got to use the hill. So yeah, let's go back and see what we got in editing. Okay, let's have a little look at the photos that we got. I've already gone through and selected them, so we don't have to go through all that process. So I've just got a select few of about 15 that we're going to go through and just edit a couple of the nice ones. Right, so let's go to the start. I've already added, or I've made like a little mini preset. So I was going to use night blue, but it's for like pitch black photos, and this is not pitch black, so it looks fucking stupid. So I made a different version called rain blue, which is, I kind of messed with the yellows a little bit. If I come down here, I messed with the yellows a little bit, lightened them, brought down the greens, just so then that's not as like green and harsh. I wanted it to be like quite wet and yellowy, I don't really know. And then I put a nice blue tint over in the shadows over here. You can see shadows, I've got a blue tint over the whole thing. Highlights, I've got a bit of a green tint. And then I did a little tone curve here, and then I messed around with the blues as a different one, but it's not much different. But all I'm gonna do with this one is probably just add a radial gradient, to be honest, because I don't want it to be too like nuts. So I'm going to do this, and I'm actually going to lighten it up. Normally I darken it, but I'm actually going to lighten it and keep the car nice and dark, and we'll lighten everything around it. So we'll lift the shadows there, bring that to about there, and that'll do for that one. It's just like a wide shot. It's not my favorite one. Let's go to a more cooler one, which is this one. This one's fucking sick. This is really nice with the colors that I've put on it. What I am going to do is, it's naturally giving me shadows on the right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with that. So I'm going to up the exposure and keep it on the left side of the car, ignore the right, just expose the left side of the car to where I want it. I'll bring the highlights down just so you can see the headlights a bit more. Shadows, bring the shadows right up, fuck it. I like that on the left side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a radial gradient from the right. Hold on, my dog wants to get out. Come on then. So where were we? Oh yeah, linear gradient from the right, and I'm gonna add some shadows into the image, probably about there. And I'm gonna darken this side here, just so then it plays with that natural shade coming in. I might even bring this over a bit more, to be honest, about there, just to get that natural shade. And then I'm gonna bring another one in from the bottom, just so then we can bring out the colors and the clarity of the puddles and the floor, because it's quite nice down there. So let's bring even the texture up, and then I'm going to, I think dehaze might do something. Yeah, it's going to make the puddles a lot sharper, so we'll even bring some of that in. And then I'm just going to boost saturation a tiny bit, bring the blacks down and bring the shadows down, just to make that floor look nice and grungy. And I don't mind that. You know what, that linear gradient's a bit too much though, so let's bring that down a bit. Let's bring the exposure up on that a tiny bit. It looks a bit unnatural, so we'll go by there. I like that one. Let's see what else we got. We've got a front-on version, which I actually don't even want to touch, to be honest. Maybe I could add a linear gradient to get rid of the houses, just to darken them or desaturate them a little bit. And then I'll darken them just because I don't want them to be that much in focus. And then maybe I'll brush the top of the car just to bring that up a little bit here, just so then I can see a bit more of the roof of the car. I'll just bring the shadows up and the exposure up a little bit. Nothing too crazy, probably about there. And then I'll just use that same settings. I might go across the front of the car actually. Let's have a look. Do I like that? No, I don't like that. I'm going to undo that just because it looks too like perfect. I want some nice shadows there. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. I actually really like that one the way it is. I was going to change the color of this light, but I guess we could add a linear gradient like we did on the last one. So let's pull that up. Clarity, dehaze, texture, saturation, blacks down, highlights down a little bit, shadows down a little bit, just to add that grunge to the bottom. That's really nice. We've got a close-up one. I like that one, but I like this one better because you can see the raindrops. Yeah, buddy. And this one, I'm just gonna expose the photo for the headlight and the Ross visuals part. I'll bring the highlights down so you can see the headlight about there. Shadows right up. We'll go about there, and then now I want to obviously bring back everything around that. So I like the way this looks here on the corner. Bosh. So we'll get that selected, and then we'll just invert this. And then bring everything else down to a realistic standpoint. Nothing too crazy. Shadows down a little bit. Blacks down a little bit. And we'll go there. Is that too much? I think that might be too much. It's just the edges are a bit too black. So let's bring it up a tiny bit. Yeah, we'll go there. That'll do for that one. And then what else have we got? I think I got a landscape. Yeah, I did get a landscape. That might be the thumbnail, or this actually might be the thumbnail. Look. Actually, no, this might be. That's a cool. I'm just so annoyed that this is in the way, this plant. I think I can get rid of that in Photoshop, so I might have a look at that later, but I can't really be bothered to do that right now. So let's edit this one. I think I actually have edited this one already. Yeah, I did a linear gradient and sky. Whoops, sorry. I've already done it, but I am going to actually lift the exposure up because it does look a bit too dark. I always do that. I edit photos and then I come back to them and then I change them because I don't like the look of them. So always double check, because you never know, you might actually... Oh, that's the only thing with reflections is, look, it's still blurry. It's kind of annoying. I should have got some more water as well and put more water around all this area of the car, but we'll play around with this one. Let's up the exposure. I actually want to see the car on this one, so let's actually get the car nice and exposed to about there. Bring the highlights down. I always bring the highlights down just because it makes the headlights, like sometimes the lights blow out the image and you can't see the detail of the headlights, whereas if I bring the highlights down, you can see all of it. So we'll go there. I want to keep the linear gradient. I want to keep this. I'm not going to do a radial gradient because I want to be able to edit the reflection on its own. So I'm going to brush the sky and everything around the car. So let me get this. Just go around here. Nothing too neat. Just generally brush it around, and then we're going to bring the highlights down. The exposure to about there. Shadows a little bit, and I might even put a blue tint. I'm actually going to put an orange tint on it. Yeah, just to get a little bit of a different to the sky, to the ground. That might look quite cool. Let's bring the exposure down a tiny bit more. About there. And now I'm going to get a linear gradient from the bottom. Bosh. Now I can play around with this puddle. So definitely saturation up, clarity up, texture up, dehaze, blacks down, shadows down, highlights down. They're like the main 4 things that I want, or 5 things that I want to do to that. And then I might even get a little bit more blue in there. What does that look like? Yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. I guess you never really know until you look away or get a before and after. No, it looks quite cool. I like that. I like the blue. I want to accent the blue. And then we've just got these last couple of detail ones. So we've got the back headlight, which is out of focus. Yes! Love it when it's out of focus. Let's get rid of that then. Great. But I think I got a nice little side. Yeah, here we go. So I had the flexi spot on, so I lined it up with the curbs for the center of the image, but it's actually still not center. And then I moved the focus point over to the headlights. Then when we lift the exposure, that headlight is crisp in focus. Look at the detail. Wow, look at all the raindrops. So let's lift. I don't want to lift the shadows too much. Bring the highlights to about there. I want this to be a dark one so you can just about see the shell of the car, and then you can see the headlights. I don't want it to be too exposed. I say about there. So now we just need to sort out the rest of the image that's around it. The dog has arrived back. Hello. And then we will go shadows down. Let's get the saturation out, and then I just need to make that sky look a bit darker because it's too obvious. I'm gonna have to do a second brush because I don't want the floor to then be even more darker than it is. I like the floor how it is now, so let's do this, and then let's just bring the exposure down there. So it just looks a bit more like nighttime vibe. And then I'm gonna have to go through the window because it is doing it on the window as well. And then we'll do it on the floor here. That might be a bit, is that too much? Yeah, that's kind of a bit too much maybe. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. Let's lift up the sky a tiny bit just so it matches that. That makes sense. Yeah, let's go there. I'm fine with that. And I always do this for the headlights. Get the brush tool and then you brush over them, bosh, and then you add clarity and dehaze to them, and it just makes them pop a lot more. Obviously don't go too crazy, like that's a bit fucking too much, but I like to go probably about there. And then depending on what way it's working, only a tiny bit to be fair, a tiny bit of texture and a little bit of sharpening, just so the headlight pops a lot more on the photos. So if you look at the before and after for that, yeah, that's nice, I like that. So that's just a couple of the photos we got. Obviously there was loads more, but they were like out of focus and some of them just look absolutely shite. There was a really wide one that I wanted to do from the back, but I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, let's just do this one as well. Let's just do this one. This one shouldn't take too long because it's already edited. It's the good thing about presets, the color's already done, you just need to do the fine adjustments. I'm gonna keep this one a little bit lighter because it is a wide lens, and I need to stop going so dark with this one. So let's go about there. And then I'm just going to do a radial gradient and desaturate everything else, and even turn the vibrance up just so it's a bit more like neon with the background. I do want to see how I need to learn how to get like the petrol station or the lights to look more like glowy neon. You know how they have like phase, oh, that is it phase? Haze over it. You can get a mist filter, but I don't have one, so maybe that would work because it would make the lights look a bit more glowy. So let's just bring the highlights out of everything around it, and let's bring the saturation down, and then shadows down a bit, and then we'll just try to bring the exposure down a tad, nothing too crazy, to about there. And then, ooh, I could add a bit of dehaze. That actually makes it look quite the other way. Looks quite fresh, quite nice there. It's almost giving me that glow on the lights in the background, so let's do that, and add a tiny bit more shadows to counter that. Yeah, I don't mind that. I just wanted to have at least one that's a bit washed and lighter than the rest, because all these are quite dark like that. All this is like quite dark and rich, which is what I was going for, but I do want a nice one like that. So yeah, those are all the photos we got. These are all my presets. If you want to buy them, they're in the description. This one I've just made is not added in there, but I'm going to be making another pack for later on in the year. But yeah, that's all down below. Got some cool photos. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me edit a bit. I actually don't make many videos of me editing a photo from scratch, so maybe I should do more of them. I just don't know if it's entertaining to watch. I like watching them, but you might not like watching them, so let me know in the comments. Also, all my gear's down there. presets down there. Everything's in the description, so if you want to know anything else, my Instagram and everything, it's all down in the description. But yeah, cool little location. Shame we couldn't get the sun, but I'm actually happy with the water, so don't go home just because it rains, because you can get some cool fucking shots. That is the end of the video. Goodbye.